Hello and welcome back to the Northern Forge. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a hairpin. It's going to be a two-piece hairpin. I've got a piece of 1/4-inch square bar here. Got my trusty hammer. This is actually, I've made a lot of these hairpins in the past. This is one of my best selling items. If you go over to northernforgeblacksmith.com/shop, I should have some available there when this goes up. But I have gotten a few requests lately to see if I can make them a little bit lighter. Normally I just make them out of this 1/4-inch square, and I'll twist that up, I'll do all the bending straight onto this, but we're going to see if we can make them a little bit lighter today. So this time I'm going to take this 1/4-inch, I'm going to forge it down to about 3/16 of an inch, and I'm going to see if I can make a lighter version of the hairpin. So I figured I'd take you guys along for the journey, show you guys how they're made. Let's get this steel in the fire and we'll jump right in.
I'm going to start by forging down one end of the 1/4-inch square bar down to about 3/16 inch square. I need about 6 inches of material for the first part of the hairpin, so I'm going to forge it down until I have about 6 inches at 3/16. Now I'm going to use the Hot Cut Hardy tool to part this section off. Next I take this over to the post vise so that I can put a twist in it, and I'm going to twist everything except for about an inch on either end. After twisting the middle, I'm going to forge a taper onto one end, and then once I have the taper forged onto that end, I'm just going to put a small scroll on the end before I switch around to the other end and repeat the process. With the taper and scroll forged on both ends, I'm going to use a pair of scrolling tongs to bend the loop onto each end. Normally when I'm making these, I'd be using a bending fork that's custom made, but I don't have a bending fork small enough for this size yet, so I'm going to do this one freehand because this is still a bit of an experiment to see if I can make them small enough. And once I have the loops on both ends, I need to bend a curve across the entire piece so that the pin has a straight path that it can go through both of those loops. I take one more heat just to make a few adjustments and make sure I like the way everything's lining up. Then we'll be ready to set this piece aside so that we can work on the pin. And you can see I'm using a smaller welding wire brush to clean this piece up. Normally we use a butcher block brush, but in this case I wanted something a little lighter so that I didn't have to worry about bending as I clean this up. For the pin that'll go through the middle of this, I'm going to take the same 1/4-inch square bar that I used at the beginning and forge one end out really thin down to about 1/8 of an inch round with a slight taper all the way to a point at one end. Just like before, we're going to use the Hardy Hot Cut to part this off from the rest of the bar. After cutting it off, I'm going to forge a bit of a steeper taper on the handle end, and then I'm going to forge just a little bit of a small scroll into that end just to make the pin a little bit easier to grab and give it a little bit of a handle on there. Now that both parts are completely forged, I'm going to give them a light coating of boiled linseed oil. The pin is already hot, so it'll just go straight on. And then the other part, I held in front of the forge for just a few seconds just to warm it up. The boiled linseed oil goes on a lot better if the part's hot.
Alright, now that it's cooled down, you can see how, hopefully you can see how it works. Basically you put this part over the hair, you slide this pin through the hair, and it holds it in place. And I'm going to hopefully demonstrate here. Got a bit of rope that's been kind of frayed, so imagine this is a bunch of hair, put it over, and then this pin. In this instance, it's actually going to go behind the rope because there's not a ton of rope here, but if you had not that much hair, it could go behind the hair, but normally you'd have more hair than that. It would actually go through the hair, but now you can see it's holding on there. Just goes around the back. It holds right there, and I mean, it's pretty difficult. I tried sliding it up and down. I can get it to move a little bit, but not much. It pretty much stays in place. And that's a 2-piece hairpin.
Thank you for watching, and because you stayed all the way to the end of the video, here's a picture of me wearing this hairpin in my beard. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed, subscribe to see more, and leave a comment with what other projects you'd like to see.